Hello everybody, welcome to the Python tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to set up an arithmetic game. In this game, the computer will generate some arithmetic questions, for example, at simple addition, subtraction, multiplication, and integer division. And the user has to answer all of them. The computer will check the number of correct answers and the time used to complete the test. In doing so, I'm going to create a game class to achieve the task. Let us see how we implement the arithmetic game. Since I want to use a class to complete the game program, I can have this kind of idea. Okay, I want to create an arithmetic game class, and this number 10 here refers to the number of questions generated by the computer. Okay, so if I want to have 10 questions in my game, I would put 10 here. And after I have set up the new game object from the arithmetic game class, I can run the method called play game to start the arithmetic game. So how can I implement the arithmetic game class together with the play game method of this class? I have some idea like this. Since the computer needs to generate some arithmetic questions randomly, I have to rely on the random module. We have to import the random module by using import random command. And since I need to calculate the time used by the user to finish the questions, I have to use the method provided by the time module. So I have to import time first. And then I do the class declaration. Class arithmetic game, colon. I have to do the initializer of the arithmetic game object. The initializer can be like this. So I have an instance variable called numQuestions for my arithmetic game object, and this numQuestions instance variable has a value equal to the input argument of the initializer. We have to remember that this self parameter will be treated automatically by the Python interpreter. So when we really create an object by using the initializer, we don't really need to put self before 10, because when we use this syntax, the Python interpreter already knows that we have to put the new game object as the argument to represent the self parameter. And then we have to tell the new game object to generate questions. So how can we generate the questions automatically? I have some idea like this. It means that the first operand will be equal to an integer between 1 and 30 inclusively. So operand 1 can be 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 30. I can do the same for operand 2. In doing so, operand 2 and operand 2 will not be so likely to have the same quantity. And then I have to choose one of the operations on the two operands. It can be addition, subtraction, multiplication, and integer division. That means when we do integer division, we don't care about the remainder. We simply need the quotient as our answer. Random.choice means that we pick up one of the elements from the given list. So operator can be plus, minus, multiply, and integer division. If the operator is chosen to be plus, we do something like this. The answer to the arithmetic question will be equal to operand 1 plus operand 2. We can do similar things on the other three operations. Suppose I'm doing subtraction. The answer will be equal to operand 1 minus operand 2. If I'm doing multiplication, the answer will be equal to the product of the two values. If I do integer division, the answer will be equal to the quotient of the operand 1 divided by operand 2. So what's the question to be shown to the user? It would be like this. So operand 1 together with the operator and also the operand 2. Since operand 1 and operand 2 are numbers, when I want to set up a question in the form of a string, I have to change operand 1 and operand 2 to strings first. And the generate functions would help me return two things. The first thing is the question in the form of a string, and the second thing is the answer of the problem generated randomly. Then I can do the implementation of the play game method. I would pass the new game object directly to the play game method, and I don't need to do it myself because Python is able to help me do that. I have to remember the number of correct answers, which is now equal to 0 because I've not done any correct arithmetic questions. I also need to count the time used, so I have to do some calculation of my time. start time equals time dot time. It means that I'm going to use the time method from the time module. Okay, time dot time refers to the current time. So if I start a game at 8 a.m., start time will be storing 8 a.m. So I have to use the number of questions that is stored as the instance variable of my new game object to do the looping, because the number of questions can change every time the game is instantiated. So we don't know the number of questions beforehand. Only after we have passed 10 to the instance variables will we know that value. Okay. Question number 1 will be something like this. I have to use I plus 1 because I in this range object will start from 0 rather than starting from 1. Okay, the object can use this method, and after using this method will return the question and the answer. I can print the question out to let the user understand what I would like him to do. I would store the answer provided by the user. And I have to check whether the user answer is equal to the correct answer. If the user gets one correct answer, the number of correct answers will be added by 1. And I will also print the congratulations statement out. If the user answer is not equal to the answer, it means that the user has given me a wrong answer. How can I handle this situation? I will tell the user that you are wrong. I will also tell the user that the correct answer is something else. So that's why I have to output both question and answer from my generate questions method. After the for loop, I have generated all 10 questions, for example, to the user, and then the game can end. Before it ends, I have to remember the end time. If I want to determine the end time, I can get the current time for the second time. So if the original time is 8 a.m. and the ending time is 10 past 8, it means that the time elapsed is simply equal to 10 minutes. I can find out the time elapsed by doing some subtraction later. First, I print out the number of answers the user has got correctly. I would also print out the time used by the user to complete all those questions. Yeah, something like this. Oh, here, it should be operator, because it refers to the way two operands are handled. So I don't use operand. I should use operator here. Okay, let me say something about this part here. I'm using a placeholder to control the number of decimal places for this value, end time minus start time. 0 means I don't need any a space before I print the number, and 0.3f means that I'm going to 3 decimal places, and the value to be put into this place will be a float value, which is having so many decimal places. So let us see the running result. This answer is 0. This is 33. It should be 60. It should be minus 2. It should be 10. It should be 60. It should be 8. It should be 49. It should be 5. It should be 34. Yeah, so you see, I got all 10 answers correct, and I used about 28 seconds to complete all those questions. And you can see that I have 3 decimal places for my time to show, because I used .3f to specify the amount of decimal places I need to print out. And I have 10 questions because I create the new game object by passing 10 to the initializer of the Arithmetic game class. My code is intuitive and straightforward, but it may not always be the best solution or the most efficient version to the problem. If you can suggest any improvement of my code, feel free to post your code on the comment section below the video. If you like this video, please give me a like, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.